feel really emotional, you know, really, really emotional. I'm just, when we were in worship, then I was hugging my daughter, just, you know, she thinks I'm the Lord of Cringe, but happy Father's Day as well to everyone, you know, it's massive. I came across the Psalm this morning, Psalm 27, verse 10, I think that's how you would say it. And it says that even if my father abandons me, the Lord will hold me close. And I just think, like, you know, the amount of times I've tried to do it my way, and I just come back to that same place of like the only person or the only thing or power I can rely on is God, you know, and Jesus Christ, who to me is part of God, you know. So I've got some notes. Yeah, I wanted to talk about my journey with faith growing up, first of all. Like, there's a man in this room, my grandfather, who to me is the epitome of someone who really attempted to live his life in such a principled and beautiful way, and I'm so grateful. It's that man. God. Yeah. Without him, I wouldn't be who I am today. So thank you, I love you. So we were kind of brought up in the church in a sense when we were growing up. We were in Methodist church, my grandparents were Methodist. They took us on at 4 years old, and yeah, you know, they tried to show us that sort of side of life in amongst all the stuff, you know, in this society that Greg's just touched on there, so broken, you know, it's really difficult to deal with at times. But I became quite disillusioned over the years, you know, when I got to that sort of age of going, right, well, I'm just going to go and, you know, live my life and be a teenager and think I know it all, and, you know, and I totally rejected faith, I rejected Christianity, I rejected everything to do with it, and I just kept getting brought to my knees time and time again, and then back in the lunacy, the insanity, and just doing it all again, and then brought to my knees, and that was my journey, you know. I think I was reflecting on this with a friend yesterday, thinking that if everything I've been through has led me to this point, you know, that sounds quite cliche and sort of to say, but it's true. And without that level of suffering, for me, I just don't think that I would be in a position where I'm absolutely willing to give my life to Christ, you know, like I wouldn't be here. And well, I found recovery, so I celebrated 5 years clean from all mind and mood altering substances last weekend. So I've got 5 years actually. Let me tell you, when you put the drugs down and stuff, you know, you realise how absolutely insane you are anyway without the drugs. So it wasn't necessarily a drug problem, it was a me problem. So, you know, I've been on this journey started 5 years ago, working on myself, and part of that process I very quickly had to find a power greater than myself. I didn't know what it was. I didn't think it was anything of sort of like Christian connotations or religious connotations. I was like, I just believe in something greater than me that can restore me to sanity, because the way that I do things just doesn't work. So I went on this journey, and you know, I still was rejecting Christ. I used to say crazy things like, I'm sure Jesus was a lovely man, but he's not going to help me. The irony and the sense of humour that God has, you know, that stuff, unbelievable. And here I am, you know, and Isaiah 40:31 is a passage that really impacted me. It was the first passage from the Bible I can remember that I was like, oh, wow. And it says that, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And I took that, and I was like, well, all the times that I've been struggling in my recovery and life and trying to be an adult and trying to grow up and get an education and all that stuff, I just kind of thought, like, I can get on board with that one. Like, that's a good one, you know, for me. And it developed this sort of inquisitiveness, you know, and I thought, I'm not going to go exploring too much because it's scary. I don't want to go down the whole Jesus route. But it did spark my interest, and one of the recovery meetings ago, I was in the cathedral in the city centre, and I really liked that space, and I used to just, like, before the meeting, I'd go and try and center myself, because you know, being around a load of addicts in recovery, we're all a little bit nuts in meetings, you know, because we're all clean, so we're all just nuts at times, you know, and that's all right. Everyone's just trying to do the best. And I was sat in the cathedral one day at the front left side, and there's an image of Christ, and I think it's after he'd been resurrected, so I think he shares food with the apostles, and I looked at this image, and I just felt this immense sense of like sorrow and love and compassion, and just many things that I actually can't really articulate. I can't really articulate what that feeling was, but it was just a feeling, and I started crying. And I just thought, wow, I just thought, right, well, I'm going to go to a different part of the cathedral, because maybe it was just a weird thing that happened. And I went down into the crypt, and there's one where he's literally just been pulled off the cross. And yeah, the same thing happened again, you know. And I'm feeling it now, you know. So I'm going to try and move it on, because I can talk for England as some of you guys. But it was undeniable, and it was unavoidable, and it was a spiritual experience, and it made me really curious. And I thought, I can't ignore that now. You know, I just can't ignore that. And at that time, I met Phil, and then I met Andy, and I met Steve, and Jude, and like Phoebe, and just Wendy, and like all these people at the gym, and they were Christians, and Phil was like, oh, you can come to my church on Sunday, and I was like, I don't know about that. Not sure about that. But I was like, you know what? I'm open-minded today. You know, my open-mindedness has got me here as well. And he brought me here. And I remember just being quite blown away with it. And it was really refreshing, you know, like to be like a lot of, like, no offense to the older people here, but there's a lot of young families and children here and that kind of stuff. And I just thought Christianity was just like loads of old people that sort of meet up, you know, and kind of sing the same hymns that they've been singing for hundreds of years, and that's fine. But I was amazed and fascinated by this church and people in it, and yeah, so I'm really grateful to Phil. Thank you, man. And just Stephen as well, kind of talking to me about Romans, really grateful for that, because it just like, I needed direction, I needed people to like show me what do I read, what is the right thing to read for a new Christian, because we go to the Old Testament and like read about all that stuff, but I need to know more about Christ. And I remember Dave giving a sermon, and he said, you've got the very first service, he was like, you've got the brokenness of the world here, you've got God there, and you've got Jesus right in the middle. And I was like, yeah, that's why people are so into Christ, because to be led to God in that sense and get over and through the stuff in the world that we have to face, it's Jesus that will do that. And you know, I do this thing quite self-sabotaging where I still go back into that stuff about like, I don't know if it's for me, you know. So I sort of lost my way again, and I left the church, and off I went and got in loads of pain and started suffering again, and yeah, like, the grace shown to me. I want to talk about the grace shown to me by the people in this room and the wider world. You know, it's Hannah, Roger, Dave, Jude, Stephen, Lois, Tom, Jess, Anna, Tim, Paul, Bethany, Josh, Matt, yeah, Francis, you know, amazing, you guys. Yeah, I mean, people have reached out to me. I've always been so welcomed here as well. My daughter has always been so welcomed. It's sassy, but you know, we just get through that. And you know, she's independent and strong-minded, just like her dad. But you know, hopefully you don't do what I did. But we'll see. And if you do, I'm there for you, because I love you. You know. And I just want to wrap it up really, because the thing with the worship has been the sort of thing that's kind of put me about a little bit. And what I noticed recently is that I'm letting go of the pride associated with that, and the sense of embarrassment, like, why shouldn't I give glory? You know, why shouldn't I put my hand up while we sing it. What is wrong with that? No one's going to arrest me. No one's going to abuse me as a result of that. And I come from a life where to show my true self and to show my emotions, I've been persecuted and abused, and that's the life I came from in addiction all those years. So it's been very difficult for me to trust people, and I don't mind being vulnerable enough to share that with you because that is just my truth. And when I share my truth, I get better. So that's where I'm at today, and I'm a very young Christian, but I'm excited and looking forward to getting in that pool. Yeah. Thank you.